Hey guys, how are you doing? I'm Jen. I just wanted to be able to give you a face with the name. This is my presentation, so I hope you listen to it entirely and I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Analyzing Mass Media and Popular Culture by Jennifer Gotts. And this is for my class, Sociology 213. Agents of socialization from the book are defined as social groups, institutions, and individuals, especially the families, schools, peers, and the mass media, that provide structured situations in which socialization takes place. So, like the definition mentions, mass media is part of agents of socialization. Included in mass media are things such as the internet, pictures, and of course, magazines. So, the magazine that I picked to talk about is the famous Teen Vogue. Teen Vogue has different magazine issues for all kinds of seasons and things that are going on in your life, etc. So the four that I have pictured here are for summer, winter, spring, and fall. And of course, they all have beautiful people on the front. The audience of Teen Vogue magazines is mostly teenagers and young adults, aging ranging from ages 13 to about 21, 22. I'm not saying that only people those ages read it though. A bunch of people read it, but the audience is geared towards teenagers and young adults. Norm is also defined in our book, and it is defined as a rule or guideline regarding what kinds of behaviors are acceptable and appropriate within a culture. So, Teen Vogue magazine sets out cultural norms for young adults. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So, I think that Teen Vogue definitely has an influence on its audience, which again are teens. It gives them a self-image, whether it be good or bad. It gives them a feeling of wanting to fit into the popular crowd, and it gives them a view of what kind of clothing and attire that their age group should be wearing. Let's sell. So, in Teen Vogue and many other magazines are different advertisements. Some of the advertisements that Teen Vogue has included in it are clothes, perfume, music, makeup, and nail polish. There are different colored nail polishes, and the ones pictured in magazines are the popular kinds. Different makeups, different brands, not off brands though, are included in magazines, and those are the ones that they advertise that teenagers should wear. Music, popular music is in there, perfume, and clothing styles that are in style for young adults. What Teen Vogue realizes it's selling but is not out there with selling it is self-image, investments, and lifestyle. It gives teens a bad self-image. It sells them their self-image into thinking that they're not beautiful if they don't look like those magazine people. It gets teens to invest their time in looking through those magazines, and it's not a good way to spend their time because it gives them a bad self-image, like I said, and it also presents forward a bad lifestyle. It brings forward partying. I saw an advertisement for cigarettes in there, so it just presents forward a bad lifestyle for teens, but it makes teens think that that's what all teens are doing at that age, and if they want to be popular. Some of the advertisements that are in there, like I said before, are makeup. So, for example, Makeup Forever Professional. If I don't use this kind of cover-up and I don't look like her, then I guess I'm not pretty. If I don't use this kind of perfume, or if I do and it doesn't take me into an enchanted forest with a beautiful dress like Taylor Swift, and I'm not wonderstruck by it, then I'm not pretty. If I don't use this and I'm not delicious with it, then I'm not pretty, because that's what the magazine is telling me, that I'll be delicious if I use this product. Ethnocentrism is another term described in our book. It is defined as the principle of using one's own culture as a means or standard by which to evaluate another group or individual, leading to the view that cultures other than one's own are abnormal or inferior. So on this side, I have Teen Vogue on one side with Avril Lavigne and Usher. Well, on the other side, I have Golf Digest. Teen Vogue makes it look like Golf Digest is the abnormal culture, that they are inferior. Material culture is also another term described in our book. It's described as the objects associated with a cultural group, such as tools, machines, utensils, buildings, and artwork. It is also any physical object to which we give social meaning. So the material cultures that I have pictured here are included in Teen Vogue. It's, as you can see, it's a lot of perfume, nail polish, lip gloss, eyeliner, mascara, and so on. We give social meanings to these kind of materials that we use in our life. And Teen Vogue sets forth a material culture for these materials pictured. The self is another term that is described in our book. It's defined as the individual's conscious, reflexive experience of a personal identity, separate and distinct from other individuals. So in the two pictures that I have, one is good and one is clearly not so good. The kind of self-image that Teen Vogue gives teens is pictured on the left-hand side. This girl is very skinny, as you can see. You can see her bones, and when she looks at the mirror, she sees herself as fat and ugly. That's not what she looks like, though. Teen Vogue sets out these images of obesity. If you don't look skinny like the girls in the magazines, then you're not pretty. Or if you don't date this guy, you're not pretty. If you don't wear these clothes, you're not pretty. If you don't wear your hair like this, you're not pretty. And we want to get away from that. We want to teach the younger generation that that's not the only way to live. Instead, we want to gear them towards the picture that's pictured on the right. This girl is looking at herself in the mirror, and she writes beauty on the mirror because she realizes that she's beautiful. Or even if she doesn't feel beautiful, she needs to realize that she is beautiful. So again, we need to get away from the image on the left, and we need to gear ourselves, our minds, and our culture towards the picture on the right. Magazines are part of our pop culture. It is the tip of the iceberg in the iceberg metaphor, which I'm sure many of you, or at least most of you, have heard of. Pop culture is the very tip of the iceberg, and that's what you can see on the outside, and it's constantly changing. It may be there, it may not. What's included in it is media, music, pictures, and so on. like I said, it's constantly changing, so we need to not rely so heavily on it. Instead, we need to focus on things that are towards the bottom of the iceberg, which people from all cultures have in common, such as love, human needs, things like that. So we can so that audiences reading Teen Vogue versus audiences reading, like I said, Golf Digest, for example, they can relate to each other and not just be focused on, oh, well, I read Golf Digest. Oh, well, you're not cool because you read Teen Vogue, and so on. The references that I used in my presentation are our book, The Real World. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it.